Hello folks, now a little bit more on the old indoor gardener. Obviously some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about you couldn't really do indoors, you can start them off indoors. Now, I've got an idea of growing a little apple tree, so I've collected some seeds out of some rather nice apples. And I've put it to them very nice and dry, put them in a jam jar and keep them for later. Obviously it takes a few years before you've got any apples, and you don't know what sort of the apples are going to be like, because it's not the same. Normally what they do is they take some rootstock and they graft a cutting from a known variety onto the rootstock. So it's just a bit of a fun thing to do, really. See if you can grow your own little apple tree. Got to have a bit of space for that. But anyway, that's aside. I do tend to keep seeds of stuff that I like. So if I had, like there, I've had the nice cherries, I'll keep a few seeds for them, dry them out. As I say, lemons, dry them out. That's an organic avocado seed. Chances are I won't grow that, but anyway, it's just depends where you're living. You might be able to. And the other thing, obviously on a more practical basis, and you can grow these indoors. I've grown quite a few plants indoors. What I do is I'll get a nice organic pepper, and obviously normally we just throw away the seeds, don't we? They're a bit hot. So what you do is just sort of peel the seeds off, and you can see I just put them in the bottom of a plastic tray. To get rid of the old key bit there. Once you can just brush them off with your fingers, and keep them seeds. And then what I do is I'll do another video a little bit later on, just growing pepper plants. They're really easy to grow, and so what we do is we do a little video on that, but just sort of each stage of, obviously we've got to collect the seeds first. Now, as I say, these ones were bought at a greengrocer, so you're not paying any extra for the seed, and you obviously get your pepper, which you're going to eat anyway. And you've got all these seeds here. You think what to do with them? But you keep them, as I say, dry them out, make sure they're dry first, and then once they're nice and dry, you can keep them for quite some time. As I say, keep your old jam jars. Once you've dried seeds off, have a different jam jar for different seeds. And as I say, make sure that when you do your jam jar up though, it's in a dry atmosphere, because obviously if you've got moisture in there, you might get a bit of mould growing. You don't want any mould growing. So make sure the seeds are nice and dry, and also make sure that the atmosphere when you with a jam jar up, make sure that's dry as well. You don't want, otherwise you'll end up with loads of old mouldy seeds. You don't want that. So I'll do another one later on, actually starting pepper seeds growing, because you can actually start them growing fairly soon, as long as you've got them indoors in a warm place. You start them growing there, and then come the summer, if we do get any summer, which we didn't get much last year, at least you've given them a bit of head start. So, and then they can go in a windowsill, and if you do a few at a time, you stagger them a bit, see? So, well, anyway, just for now.